Residents of Layu could stage a major protest action against the ongoing operations of an asphalt plant in their community. Government has given foreign businessman Jagadakan the green light to operate an asphalt plant in Layu. Chairman of the Layu Improvement Committee says the people are contemplating protest action, but the committee is trying to have the situation ironed out before it gets to that point.
Well, the people are still disappointed on the, that kind of a thing, and there's still a little unrest in the village. As the chairman of the committee, in my capacity as chairman, I am trying to, lead them in the right direction, that we will not do anything that is contrary to the law, and let us stay within the confinements of the law. People are still contemplating maybe a peaceful protest and that kind of thing, but we, in my capacity as a chairman, I'm trying to see how best I can bring closure to the matter. Well, we have not closed all our doors and shut all our windows. There's still a window open for discussion.
Chairman of Layu Improvement Committee. Meantime, Environment Minister Dr. Kenneth Daru says the people of Layu were consulted before a license was granted to a foreign businessman for the construction of an asphalt plant in their community. The Layu Improvement Committee is contemplating further demonstration action against the decision to grant temporary license to Jack Gadakan for the construction of the plant.
With the government of Dominica, we have engaged Layu people in a number of occasions. In fact, up to yesterday, we invited the Layu Improvement Committee to meet with myself, the Prime Minister, and other ministry officials. And a couple of hours before, they called to say that they couldn't get a quorum, whatever that means. So this whole idea of they giving the impression that we had just granted a license to Jagadakan without consultations. This is not true. We all know the situation started sometime last year, if you want to just go back a little. And back then, I think we had a little of a civil unrest back in October last year, and where the government intervened to assure that the Layu people that none of these processes would happen unless the proper procedure was followed, meaning that an EIA study be done, and then Jagadakan follow the proper procedure applying for planning permission. Now the EIA, since then the EIA was done, and the EIA has ruled favorably that all the concerns that the Layu people have expressed, they really, let me not say void, okay? We as a government recognize that yes, any industry going to be set up in any area will of course give rise to concerns, health concerns, environmental concerns.
Dr. Daru speaking here at a press conference held on Wednesday. Dr. Daru says the summary of the EIA showed that the odor from the plant is the only possible problem.
But all of these were addressed in the EIA. And in fact, the summary of the EIA showed that the only thing that might be of a little, might pose a little problem would be the whole idea of the odor from the plant. And then those of you who've been listening to the media for the past couple of weeks, I'm sure would have some programs where a number of conditions were set up in this temporary permission that was granted to Jagadakan. And one of these conditions was that measures be put in place to take care of this odor. And if that doesn't solve the problem, that further measures be put in place. And one of the things I want to point out, especially to the Layu people, is that a very important condition that was stipulated in the temporary permission was that a monitoring committee be set up to have monthly visits to the plant, where any sign of hanky-panky going on there, of course, will be detected. And also to take this opportunity to let them know that any sign of non-compliance to these measures, to these measures and conditions set, will be seriously dealt with. So just to reassure them. Now, part of this committee, I think the Prime Minister is going to be part of the committee, and they have also given the Layu people the opportunity for the actual Layu residents to be part of this committee. So honestly, if this isn't transparency and democracy, please tell me what is.
Environment Minister Dr. Kenneth Daru. In other local news, Deputy Police Commissioner Cyril Corrett has confirmed that the Dominica Police Force has written to the United States to seek assistance with investigations into the discovery of skeletal remains in the Emsall Heights. Speculations have indicated that the remains could be that of 23-year-old Corey Pollion of St. Lucie, Barbados, but Corrett says there has been no confirmation just yet. Local police have not confirmed the identity of the remains, although the Barbados Nation newspaper reported that police suspected the bones were that of Pollion's.
With regard to the skeletal remains which were found in the River Clay area on the 18th of March 2010, we have made a request to the U.S. Embassy in Barbados for the services of a forensic anthropologist and a forensic odontologist in order to determine the identity of the person and the cause of death. So far we are waiting word from them now as to whether we're going to get such assistance.
But there's no confirmation as to who it is, despite claims otherwise.
That is the only way we are going to be able to confirm the identity, the true identity of the person. I mean, now there is only speculation, but we will be able to confirm when we get the services of those persons, and the forensic and the remains will be forensically analyzed.
How soon can we expect these persons here?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. We're waiting for them to agree or disagree. We're waiting for their response.
Do you anticipate a positive response?
I hope so. I hope we get a positive response.
Deputy Police Commissioner Cyril Corrett. Residents, businesses and government agencies have been asked to make the necessary preparations for an above-average hurricane season. The latest outlook for the 2010 Atlantic hurricane season from the Colorado State University and other sources have predicted an above-average hurricane season.
It is not every time you see the President of the United States.
With regard to
Apologies there on the absence of that clip. We move on with the news package this afternoon. Prime Minister Roosevelt scarrets there is no rift between himself and his government press secretary Sean Douglas. Douglas had not been informed about major press conferences held during the last couple months, including that of a recent OECS summit in Dominica. However, the Prime Minister, addressing a press conference here on Wednesday, said that there was no rift between himself and his press secretary.
It is not every time you see the President of the United States giving a press conference, he has his press secretary along with him. And therefore, it is up to the Prime Minister, or any minister for that matter, to decide who he invites to a press conference. And there's nothing in law or policy which says that the Prime Minister, or any minister for that matter, must have the press secretary by his side or in front of him or in the back of him when he's having a press conference. So there's nothing untoward about this, and that's it.
That's your local news. Now for your regional and international highlights. Caribbean nations have told the United Nations that they are ready to enforce a ban on dumping garbage at sea. The United Nations outlawed dumping in 1993 for the Caribbean region, but it could not take effect until countries in the region had adequate facilities to receive garbage from ships. Member countries gave notice last month that they now had sufficient capacity. The new rules of the United Nations International Maritime Organization, or IMO, will take effect in May next year. IMO consultant Jeff Ramos, speaking to the Associated Press news agency, called the change a big deal. Under current rules, ships can dispose of metal, glass and other refuse a short distance from shore and almost any garbage farther out. The pending ban will outlaw the discharging of any solid waste at any distance except for food, which could still be dumped 3 miles from shore. Internationally, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert is a prime suspect in a large corruption scandal. Mr. Olmert returned to Israel from a holiday in Europe on Thursday after police asked him made himself available for questioning. He denies any involvement in the matter. Jerusalem officials are alleged to have taken bribes to advance a property development while Mr. Almut was mayor. His successor as mayor was arrested on Wednesday over the case, with a judiciary spokesperson said Yuri Lopolinsky was suspected of receiving bribes, money laundering, fraud, breach of trust, tax avoidance and conspiracy in connection with the Holy Land property development. The controversial circle of high-rise luxury apartment blocks in West Jerusalem is regarded by many Jerusalem residents as an eyesore. That's news.